We shall now move on over to the fascinating world of Khan's digital world. This is going to be hosted and portrayed here on CHITRMALA by the author, presenter, educator, consultant, none other than the famous Dr. Badrul Khan. Today, Dr. Khan's guest is Dr. Rajesh Mehra of Chantilly Family Practice Center. And here, Dr. Khan has many questions for Dr. Mehra on eHealth. Let's see.
Welcome to Khan's Digital World. My name is Badrul Khan. We all know that we are surrounded by all sorts of emerging technologies. We are living in a physical world, but around us, these technologies created a new world called digital world. Today, in this episode, we have a very exciting topic, which is eHealth. eHealth, we mean using electronic technologies to improve the people's health and healthcare. Today, I'm so honored to have Dr. Rajesh Mehra as one of our guests in this show. Dr. Mehra is very well known in the community. He educates us on good health and also wellness. I'm one of the most frequent viewers of his show on this channel. All the tips and tricks he provides us for us to live healthy and happy life. With that in mind, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Rajesh Mehra.
Dr. Khan, that was a great introduction. I mean, that was just superb. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you thinking of me in this digital world, because doctors, like all digital things, are also becoming part of this digital world.
Very
so
good.
I'm happy to be here and tell you about health topics that you want to know.
Well, first of all, for our viewers, as you know, that in the digital world, think about a digital world, a normal day in your life. What do? We drive to work, go to school, go to doctors, go for shopping, all sorts of things that we do, we have technology involved in it. Now, Dr. Mehra, as a physician, and a very good one, how he uses technology for his profession. So today we will have an open discussion. It's like a cordial discussions about how technology is instrumental in his profession, what he sees as the challenges sometime or benefits, and the perspective of technology in the use of healthcare industry. Dr. Mehra, please share with us.
Take up, that's right. Well, I could talk for hours, Dr. Khan, about this, but let's break this down into some very simple things that I believe our viewers can relate to. The first part of it is, how does technology, how has it changed any doctor's office? In other words, how do we use technology in a doctor's office? The second topic we should cover is, how do mobile apps and things help a patient? And the third thing, if we have time today, if not, we'll do it next time, will be how globally is the digital world changing and revolutionizing the field of medicine. So to take the first topic, I'm a family doctor, all kinds of doctors in America. We have started now using what's called EMR. EMR stands for Electronic Medical Record. So traditionally, when you went to the doctor's office, a doctor had a big chart, a big folder, basically a paper thing with a bunch of holes plugged into it. And the challenges in the past about a paper chart were obvious. In a busy doctor's office, half the things, or not half, but a certain amount of the things would always be lost. Sometimes it would be like, I have over 5,000 patients, you couldn't even find somebody's chart. Or you'd have to hire 2 people to just look for Dr. Khan's chart.
So are you saying that technology made the accessibility of this data about your patients very easily accessible and just in time?
That is exactly right. What happens now is when Dr. Khan or a patient comes in, we put all the data in an electronic folder. So when Dr. Khan comes in, when Dr. Khan calls, when he needs a prescription, it's at the click of a button that you can access the information and then use it for the flow of whatever needs to be done. That's why it's called an EMR. Medicare mandated that pretty much everybody has to use it. I mean, it's almost a law. It's not a law where you're going to go to jail, but it's a law that pretty much 70, 80%, if not 90% of doctors have some kind of a digital record-keeping system.
So I would say that digital technologies is like a blessing for the field of healthcare and also healthcare related disciplines.
Oh, absolutely. There are some challenges, and I'll come to that in a minute too, because like everything in life, everything has the yin and the yang,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So digitally, there are some challenges to face. Now, to walk you through then, what happens is that when a patient gets some x-rays done, labs done, all that data then gets dumped into your file. So no more do you need a filing person, because it all comes in electronically from the vendor that does it, and then electronically it gets posted into that person's file. So if you had a CAT scan done, a chest x-ray done, all I had to do is go in Dr. Khan, chest x-ray, and I can see it.
So does this accessibility of this data just in time helps anyone in healthcare industry to make a better decision right in time?
Well, it helps in multiple levels. Number one, it makes a doctor's office very more efficient. Mm-hmm. That's obviously the first thing. Number two, it coalesces the data in one place, so you're absolutely correct. Whatever decision making I have to do regarding your treatment, your diagnosis, I can get to it very quickly. Now here's another added advantage of all of that. After I see you, and after I want you to take penicillin, no more do I ever write a prescription. I simply email it to your pharmacy. So by the time you're leaving my office, the prescription is already sitting at the pharmacy for you to pick up.
Well, let me ask you then, in the advanced countries like industrialized society, first world, that you have the pharmacy is well equipped for digital world, mm-hmm. doctor's office also, so it works.
Okay.
If you wanted to transfer this idea in third world countries, mm-hmm. so what advice would you give where doctors are trying to scan the data of the patients, and then if the pharmacy is not ready, so it's kind of system is kind of not work. So it is a systemic system, right. that one has to, if some countries, in the third world countries especially, or developing countries wanted to have eHealth, so they have to plan it such a way that right. all sector of all interrelated services should be intact and should be seamless transformation of data.
Right.
So this is good for you that the pharmacy, you don't have to call them, you just send them email, and right. this email can be generated automatically after you have seen your patient.
Right, my nurse, myself, we have to then email it, and then also think about it. When you need a refill, what would normally happen? The pharmacy would call Dr. Mehra's office, a secretary would pick up and say, hello, Dr. Khan needs his penicillin. Then the nurse would write it on a piece of paper, then they would show it to me. Right now, guess what happens? Pharmacy emails, Dr. Khan needs penicillin. My nurse just, obviously has me okaying it, and she just clicks a button and it just goes. So we've just avoided that whole phone call, writing on paper and writing and doing all of that.
So it looks like the clients, the community that you serve, which are people like us,
sure.
your patients, are highly benefited.
Very much benefited from these because from the digital world.
Yeah, because in the digital world, all the data accessible to you just in time help you to make a good decision. Right. At the same time, transformation of this medical information to all the relevant services that can fulfill the services for any of your patients are really very useful. So that is a greater advantage. Previously, you had to wait for a fax to come.
That's
Sometimes
right.
fax machine doesn't work. And your patients will be calling in different places, why I didn't get my medicine.
Bad customer service. Patients are calling saying, I sent you, or pharmacy sent a fax an hour ago or 4 hours ago. The secretary didn't look at it, so I didn't get my refill. Where's my refill? So the phone's ringing off the hook. Doctor's office, the phone's always ringing. So it's really made all this process very smooth. Now here's another very important thing. When a patient comes in, now the appointments are made online. It's much like Open Table. Right? So you want to go to a restaurant, you log on, 6 o'clock, you put your name down. Similarly, we have a system where it's Open Table, it's open reservations. They can see my schedule and see that there's nobody at 1 o'clock, and you put Dr. Khan, Badrul Khan at 1 o'clock. So again, you don't have to call the office and say, is Dr. Mehra in the office today? Does he have an opening? Put on hold by the secretary. No, just make it online.
This is wonderful. I mean, that means in the digital world is there to assist you, make your life more smooth, any transaction you do, and it saves a lot of time from all parties involved.
All parties involved.
Now, is there any challenges in doing such system?
I'm going to come to the challenges, but unfortunately I didn't answer your last question. And you had asked me, what advice do I have for the third world?
Third world countries, yes, please.
Well,
Thank you.
That's a challenge, right? Because it's like anything else that it needs to be done in the third world. It has to be a cultural change, infrastructure change, a lot of money. The one challenge which I was going to talk to you about is obviously this all costs a lot of money, which is sort of good and bad for the doctor, right? So to have this happen in a third world country, it would take a monumental, I'm saying monumental, influx of engineering, IT, infrastructure, and money, and a source of power, a source of purpose, who's going to make this happen. Now, to answer your question about challenges, there are multiple challenges. It's not all smooth. The first challenge is that now, and studies have proven this over and over again, a doctor's-patient relationship is hurt a little bit. You know why that's hurt? I'm worried about what I'm doing on the computer. I'm not really talking to you. It's just like the concept of our cell phones, right? We're looking at our cell phones when we're sitting in a restaurant. I'm not even talking to you and you're my guest. Similarly, a doctor is worried about, hey, how do I enter this information? What is Dr. Khan saying? I'm not looking at you.
So you're becoming more like a robot. Machine robot.
You're becoming a robot. So that's sort of the negative thing. The opposition people say that's not been good for medicine. The other biggest challenge right now, which is probably going to take 10 years for it to happen, is remember, my EMR is not the same as any other doctor's EMR.
I see.
There is no talking to each other.
I see.
I send you to a cardiologist. Cardiologist does his thing. You come back to me and say, what did he do? Oh, well, I don't know what he did. He gave me these medicines. Why did he give you this medicine? So I waste a lot of time then saying, so in the future, just like with the Army, with the DOD and the VA and some of these other things, who are trying to make the digital world into a composite, into a link where doctors and systems are talking to each other. In the next 5 to 10 years, the challenge in the US and other developed countries is to make one system,
very good,
which is going to talk to what I am doing on you, my friend, the dermatologist, and vice versa is going to be able to see across town, much less across the country.
Thank you so much. As doctor says, there are a lot of benefits to digital world. At the same time, there are challenges. It was wonderful time that I spent with Dr. Mehra. We learned so much from him, and I'd like to invite him in my next show. Thank you, Dr. Mehra, for stopping by, and it was so wonderful to have you in the show.
Thank you for having me on your Digital World show, and I look forward to our next meeting, and we'll discuss a lot of other interesting topics.
Viewers, you have any questions and concerns, like to hear from you, badrulkhan.com/tv. Thank you.